Exclusive. Obi gives fresh, undeniable reasons why Tinubu and Shettima should be disqualified. And these have got Nigerians talking. Welcome back to Prospect Channels TV. Thank you for coming out here. If you are just joining us, please kindly subscribe. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up. The Labour Party and Peter Obi, its candidate in the most recent presidential election, have reiterated their request to the Presidential Election Petition Court (PEPC) to nullify President Bola Tinubu's election victory. The Labour Party and Obi claimed that Kassim Shettima, the Vice President, and Tinubu were ineligible to have run for office. Additionally, they argued that Tinubu should not have been proclaimed the winner of the election since he did not receive 25% of the votes in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). In their last written speech, the Labour Party and Obi make arguments in favor of having the petition filed by the Labour Party and its candidate dismissed in response to Tinubu and Shettima's joint final address. Obi and his party emphasized that INEC's claim inability to electronically transmit the results of the presidential election from the polling unit to its result viewing portal amounted to non-compliance in order to support their claim of non-compliance with the Electoral Act and other associated rules. They claim that Tinubu's purported involvement in forfeiture proceedings in a United States District Court was sufficient to exclude him from running for office by INEC. Obi and the Labour Party also claim that Tinubu should not have been declared the victor since he fell short of receiving 25% of the votes in the FCT. It is argued that a purposeful reading of Section 134(2) in brackets 299 and the remaining provisions leads us to the conclusion that receiving 25% of the votes in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) is a separate requirement for election to the office of president as opposed to the 36 other states in Nigeria, where the winning candidate must have received at least 25% of the vote. 37 states in brackets. According to a electoral reading of Section 134(2) in brackets of the Constitution, in order to win, a candidate must receive 25% of the votes cast overall in 2/3 of the Federation states as well as the FCT, or 25% in 24 states as well as the FCT. This is especially true because the FCT is not listed as one of the states of the Federation in Section 3 and Part 2 of the second schedule. More importantly, Section 299 of the Constitution has an integrating clause. It specified that the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, shall be subject to the provisions of this Constitution in the same manner as if it were one of the states of the Federation. The clause goes on to say, and accordingly, all legislative, executive, and judiciary powers formerly vested in the House of Assembly, the governor of a state, and the court of a state shall respectively vest in the National Assembly, the President of the Federation, and a court which, by virtue of the foregoing provisions, are courts established for the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. According to a comprehensive interpretation of Section 299, the FCT should be treated as a state for the purposes of exercising the executive, legislative, and judiciary authorities granted to states. As a result, The president is responsible for overseeing the FCT's executive administration. The National Assembly passes local laws for the FCT, and the FCT High Court is the only court with territorial authority in the FCT. It is impossible to comprehend Section 299 without the portion that begins "and accordingly" in it. This is so that the Constitution and its clauses can be read together. It is submitted that the provisions of the Section 299 can be interpreted to mean that the FCT will be regarded as a state to the extent that the President, the National Assembly, and the High Court, the FCT, on the behalf of the FCT, exercise and enjoy judiciary, legislative, and executive powers and no more, they said. Obi and the Labour Party assented, citing a number of judiciary authority that the Constitution is explicit on the separate and distinct character of the FCT. It is handled the same as any other Nigerian state. The 1999 Constitution was completely silent on the requirements and only came close to stating that the victorious candidate must receive 25% of at least 2/3 of the votes cast in all the states of the Federation, according to Obi and the Labour Party. Further going into the mischief of the additional requirement of 25% of votes in the FCT, we note that the 1979 Constitution was completely silent on the requirement. Additionally, the petitioners argued that Tinubu and Shettima erred in the approach they have taken to the interpretation of the intention of the makes of the Constitution, having regarded to the provisions of Section 134 to be in brackets. Obi and the Labour Party claim that they have performed a much better job of providing their case than INEC, Tinubu, Shettima, and he had Progressive Congress, APC, who had only called one witness each and submitted a small number of documents. So guys, I'm dropping it here. Kindly share your thoughts below the comment section. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not. Thank you.